Right on. Hey guys, Steve Araujo here with the Bass Hang. I am here with my good friend Doug Koeppen. You've probably seen him on some videos. He is an integral part of the Bass Hang, also really helps me out with a lot of videos and really helps me out with a lot of products that I'm not familiar with, and one of them is the Kala U-Bass. So welcome, Doug. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Good
really,
to be here.
Yeah, really appreciate it. So this is this is part of the weekly 3. It's basically going to hit on the strings that either come on the Kala U-Bass or that you can change. There's a lot of discussion. I don't know that much about them, so I'm going to let Doug kind of take it over and talk about the strings that are on this bass right now.
Okay, cool. These are the Pyramid strings that are made by the Pyramid Company in Germany. They're especially made for the U-Bass. They are essentially a silk core with a silver-plated copper winding over them. So if you think of the bass strings, the low strings on a classical guitar, that's what this construction is like. The plus side is you get a lot of sustain. I know guys love the U-Bass for the polyurethane strings that come on them. They're real thuddy, uprighty sounding. If you want a more guitar sound, more bass guitar sound, you get that with these strings. It's just a little more, slightly more round wound sounding.
It kind of sounds like a classical guitar that's mic'd, like with a pickup almost, but obviously low end. That's what I'm kind of hearing. Silk wrapped. It sounds
Absolutely.
like that. The low end sounds good.
Yeah.
I think it sounds really good.
Yeah, it's really a very different dimension for the U-Bass. Whole completely different sound. Works, I think, better with a pick than the polyurethane strings or the Thundergut strings. They're just great. I mean, they sound really nice.
They feel good. They're I don't know. They feel nice and basic, elastic, like bendy. I guess I don't know.
Well, that's an interesting point because the U-Basses are set with kind of high action for the polyurethane strings. They have more you know, sway, more play.
Okay.
When you pluck the string, the sweep is wide, so you need higher action. You don't really need that action with these Pyramid strings because they are stiffer. They're definitely more stiff, and it takes a little more effort to press them down. You don't notice it so much in the first 5 frets or so. Once you get up to the 7th to the 12th, you have to press the strings down harder. And it's kind of a problem, I think, because you can't adjust the bridge height on these basses. On an acoustic guitar, you know, you just pop out the bridge and you hit it with a sander,
file it down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To the height you need. You can't do that here because the piezo pickup's built into the bridge.
Okay. So and then another question, you're talking about when the action is higher, you're talking polyurethane strings, different strings, that affects intonation.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does a little bit, yeah.
So these tend to play a little more in tune than the others, or how is that? Is that one of the things that affects the Kala U-Bass community with a lot of strings, the intonation playing in tune?
Intonation's an issue, and a lot of guys play fretless to adjust just by moving, you know, up or down on the fretboard.
Okay.
These definitely have better intonation. As long as the bass itself is in tune, it's much closer.
And how's this one particular? Pretty.
It does pretty well. There's a couple of notes, you know, that are iffy.
Okay. Okay.
They move a few cents one way or the other.
Interesting.
Still not perfect. It's mostly, I've noticed, above the 10th fret here. That's where it starts to get to be an issue, especially with the lower strings, because they're big, and you know, it's a big effect. With tiny little frets, any variation, it shows up.
Okay. And then how about playing, like I said, with a pick? You said that's kind of a cool thing, and maybe acoustically we'll turn down the amp and maybe play it that way, because people like that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't play with a pick so much on the polyurethane strings. It would be a lot to get across them. You know, the string's going to bend as you hit it. Whereas these are stiff, and this is a bender medium, so kind of classic.
Yeah, a mark bass, little mark, and a 112 form factor set flat. So no EQing at all.
So,
cool.
It's definitely by ear. I mean, you can use a fatter pick like a Dunlop 207. It's going to sound more round.
I like the sound of the strings. I really do.
Yeah.
I've heard it. I remember when you played it with the, I'm not sure exactly what strings, but I like these.
Yeah.
I like the sound of them. Yeah.
Well, you're an electric player. They kind of primarily play the rock stuff these days. You used to play the jazz thing, but and the Aquila Thunder Guts and the standard polyurethane strings that come on the bass really get closer to that sound. But you're right. This is much more open,
cool
bass guitar sounding.
And acoustically, with the volume off,
Yeah.
what do you?
Well, I think they're a lot louder.
Okay. You might be able to hear. They are, yeah, being round wound, like with that steel round wound or whatever, it sounds like they project a little more.
Yeah, I think you, with a quiet acoustic guitarist, you could get away with it if you're hanging around the house, you know, and playing some things together. You might have to hit them a little bit harder, but you can be heard.
Okay.
With the other strings, it's iffy, it's questionable.
Cool. So to wrap it up, can you give me just a quick rundown on the sets of strings and what the qualities are? Do you think just for the U-bass kind of community?
Sure.
Just to,
well, most people know that they come with the black strings that are called paho-hos.
Those are the stock strings.
Those are the stock strings that are polyurethane. They tend to have the most intonation issues. And I believe is a construction thing with the string. It's just hard to get them consistent across the length.
Paho-hos, stock. Okay.
And then there's a company called Aquila in Italy that makes Thunder Gut strings, which are the white ones in the other video we did.
Yes. Okay.
Those are a little stiffer, and they're kind of a plastic elastic blend, is what I believe the package says.
Okay.
The intonation is better on them, and they're more consistent. Some people think they're sticky. It's really the E and the A string, and I talked to the maker at NAMM this year, and he said it's just a matter that every string is the construction, the composition is a little different. The compound that goes into it.
So not as consistent string to string, set to set. So you're kind of, sometimes you'll get
the Thunder Guts.
Yeah, the Aquilas.
No, they're very good.
Oh, they are. Okay.
They are.
Okay.
Typically, it's the E and A that is just a little sticky, and it's just a matter of the compound.
Okay.
They need to make those strings, I think, heavier.
Cool. So there's Aquila, and then these are the pyramid
strings. Yeah, and these are the most expensive. And, I've had these on the bass for over a year.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
They sound great. They sound alive. They sound killer.
I don't play this a lot, and I haven't gigged this bass with these strings. But, it's still got some hours into it, obviously over a year. And there's things to really like about them. Yeah, they really project. If you want to play sort of more acoustic guitar sounding things, you're gonna want this. If you want the standard thumpy U-bass tone, you're gonna want the other strings.
Cool. Well, I will definitely link the original video. I think, did we do one or two?
Just one.
The other video to this one, so you'll be able to see that video and kind of compare. And I know this was a little bit longer, weekly 3, but I know that this comes up a lot, the string dilemma with the Kali U-bass. So I really kind of wanted to hit on that. And and Doug, thank you for coming in and discussing, man. It really means a lot, and I really appreciate it, and I think the audience will appreciate it too.
Absolutely.
So
always
cool.
A pleasure.
All right, thanks, buddy. Play us a little bit if you want, man.